Very good morning to everybody. Today we're going to discuss with regards to the International Public Employment Service Symposium and Career Expo 2021. It's with regards to the International Public Employment Forum 2021 organized by OKESO. The topic today we're going to discuss is about lessons from the Olympics, fighting back. Today we have three former international soccer players. These people are actually legends, as they say. And may I introduce you Dato' Sochin An, Dato' Santok Singh, and Dato' James Wong. They have played for the country in the 70s and in the 80s. And many say that this is the golden years of Malaysian football. So good morning, good day to Dato' Sochin An, Dato' Santok Singh, and Dato' James Wong.
Morning.
We are very delighted to have you guys here, and we are very sure that you guys are going to share a lot of very important experience for people to learn and gauge using your sporting experience and knowledge into the working world. So to start with, I will go to the first question. What are the sporting medals you have won from major international sporting events? Dato' Sochinan, if you can start the ball rolling.
Okay, thank you. Actually, during my career as a footballer before, I think the most prestige medal I have received from the organizer was the two Olympics where we qualified for the Olympics in 1972 and also in 1980. 80, is it?
Yes.
1980 in Moscow, but unfortunately Moscow. Right? So actually, these are the two most prestigious medals that we won before.
All right. And Dato' Santok Singh, if you can share a little bit of yourself on the medals.
Okay, mine was, you want to start off, I think the most prestigious one at that time was the 1972 Asian Games bronze medal. And then, of course, I did not know then when we played the finals in 1980 for the Moscow Olympics. That was one that I really treasure the most.
Yeah. Dr. James, what about you?
I would go with Santo for the 1980 qualifying, where the medal was the most prestigious. Apart from certain other medals that we won, like for the King's Cup, the SEA Games, and several others. So for me, again, the treasure is the 1980 Olympic medal.
Yeah, can you share the process and experience of achieving this from the aspects of dream, the struggle, and the prize? Dr. James, you probably can start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being a young boy, basically during our time, we play football as we take it as a passion, something that we really like to do. It never really struck me until maybe when I was first selected to represent, say, the Sabah youth team, to play in tournaments. And then from then on, then you realize that people tell you that, oh, you know what, you're good, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And eventually it catches up with you. And then suddenly you tell yourself that I can do better than this, I can go further than this. And at the end of the day, the dream of playing for the country became like a big dream. And I was, I was very happy that actually by the time I get to represent the country in the youth team and also in the national team, then I realized that, you know, I've actually achieved my dream, but there's no other better dream than qualifying for the Olympics.
Dr. Santok, what about yourself?
Oh, myself, I would say that, of course, like what Dr. James has said, that qualifying for Moscow was the tournament for me and my mates. And of course, I started off with playing in 1972 with the Selangor Burnley Cup team. And then from them, I got promoted to play for Malaysia B. At that time, we had two teams in the Merdeka tournament in 1972. We had the A and the B. The A was the team that qualified for the Munich Olympics. And then we were the number 2 team B. We were the backup squad. And from there, gradually it went up. And of course, I would say that my greatest achievement is qualifying for the Moscow Olympics.
And Dr. Sochin An, I understand that you were in the 2 Olympics, 1972 Munich and 1980 Moscow. And well, what is the aspects of dream, the struggle, and the prize that you went through?
Well, for me, I would say I was lucky to be the only person who has won 2 Olympics for Malaysia. And from the very beginning, when we are young, when I just started playing for national team and so on, we never dreamed to qualify for Olympics until in 1972, 71, when we played the qualifying round. Then only we realized we are capable of going further. And that is where we qualified for the Olympics. And of course, in the 1982 second Olympics, that is my good friends here, Santok, and also James Wong. We are all in the same team. And we did very well, and we play very hard, and we train very hard, and we are proud to qualify for the second Olympics. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we understand that 1980 was the last Olympics that Malaysia has qualified. Can you please share, because people are really interested to know, what is the difference in the attitude and training that made this happen? What is the difference that you guys did? You know, what you went through, what hardship, what are the elements? Dr. Santok, maybe you can start first here.
Oh, you want me to start? Okay. To me, I think that 1980 team, we had a fantastic team because we had a united team. We had all races. We had Malays, we had Chinese, we had Indians, and of course, other races, 1 or 2 we had, which we played as a united team for the love of our country, Malaysia.
Yeah, in terms of the attitude and training, can you share a little bit more of that?
Well, the attitude was fantastic because when we were united, and the training was simply, I think, tremendous, because we had to go to training in Trenda camp, and then we had to go for training to Fraser Seal, I think, it was tremendous. The training was very, very hard, and which really took us far. And I think the furthest they took us was this 1980 Olympics.
Yeah, Dr. James, what attitude and training that made it happen in terms of going to Trenda camp and Fraser Hill and all that you went through?
Yeah,
what difference did it make?
Actually, first and foremost, I like to say that I'm actually from Sabah, Kota Kinabalu, Sabah. and I got a call up to come and train with I call them the big boys in the Malaysian team. You know, it was like a scary moment, you know, because I didn't really know them too well at that time, but I've heard of big names like Tauke and so forth and so on. But it did not deter me. It was something that I wanted to go over and take it as a challenge that I can mix up with the boys over there, and then train as hard as we can, and to achieve a dream that you have been dreaming of. So for me, that was one of the challenge. But my surprise was when I got there. Um, it was superb because everyone was so friendly. Everyone was very accommodating, and we were like a family, you know. So at the end of the day, in life, though we train hard and we uh, well, laugh and joke about almost everything, but at the end of the day, it made life much easier.
Yeah. So Chinan, what about you? The attitudes and the training that made it happen. What do you think?
Well, for me, the first Olympic we qualified was, I would say, we were very lucky actually, you know, to play against especially South Korea and Japan. And I still remember, I think that time we play against them, actually, we didn't expect us to win. There are so many people who never see us play in Korea, never see how we perform. But of course, we perform very well. We play very hard. But the actual fact is, the Koreans, they are a bit unlucky, you know. But we did defended very well after scoring the first goal. So this is something I would say lucky, but the effort is from us to win the first Olympics. For the second Olympics, where we qualify again against Korea, I would say now, we had a good team that time. We had people like our friends here, Dr. Santong, Dr. James, so many others, Arumugam and so on. We are from the bottom until the top. The whole team is we have very good players. And we play, the most important thing is that we play together for at least 8 to 10 years. We were together. We have a lot of understanding. And we have a lot of good players. That is how we qualified for the second Olympics.
Dr. Suchinan, during that process of those years that made our country qualify for both these Olympics, do you think the sense of team spirit, cohesion, the mental strength, and the belief as a unit played a huge role? You know, because on the field, when push comes to shove, it's either you throw your towel and give up, or you just go the extra mile and make it happen. You know, especially when you said playing against tough teams like Korea, Japan, and other countries.
Well, I would say now, for us, for all of us, for any footballers also, once we come to a position where we think we can qualify for Olympics, when we think we have a chance to do better, to qualify for Olympics. So automatically, the difference of the players are different. Everybody is very excited. Everybody play their hearts out. Everybody try their best to make sure that the balance 1 or 2 games that make us to the Olympics is there. So that is very important. The spirit is definitely different from the normal game. That is why I think from the efforts of the players, from the fighting spirit of the players, we managed to go through and qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah. So, Dato' Santop, you were a defender and you were a very feared defender. But during these instances where you were facing the strongest forwards in Asia, making sure that Malaysia qualifies for Olympics, what was going through your mind in every moment of the game, making sure that you defend the country and making sure that you manage the situation? What was going through the mind?
Oh, to be on that part, I would say I like what Dato' Sochinan has said, that we had a very good team. We had all the players who could, look after their own departments. I mean, like Dato' Arumugam looking after the goal. I mean, it was fantastic. And then, like I said, we had a team that was united, which wanted to prove to everybody that we also could do it. And then that's what till today, I always have told people, you see, your flag of the national country is on the left-hand side of your heart. So play with your love and discipline, determination, and everything. I mean, this was what was taught to me or our team by our late Dato' Harun Idris, who did a fantastic job by giving this kind of 3Ds: discipline, determination, and dedication. To me, I think that's where we all worked as a one unit team to get Malaysia to where we were at that time.
Yeah. Dr. James, over to you. Everybody sees it. When it comes to soccer, when it comes to National Day, when it comes to important moments, time and again, we see the goal that you score against Korea, the counter-attack goal. Can you just share a little bit what was actually going through your thoughts to actually dodge the first movement and make the defender commit, and then cool as a cucumber, take that shot and ensuring the success for Malaysia? What exactly were you thinking then?
Yeah, I guess it's a goal that can never be forgotten. I'm already 68 years old now, and they're still playing the video.
Yeah.
I think Chianan is older than me. But anyway, if I were just to recollect, when I replay the video and I try to see what I did. So I honestly thought that when Hassan got the ball from the mid half, and when he beat the first defender and then and ran on and beat the second defender, also because maybe I have been playing with him in Sabah, in our own team Sabah, and we basically knew what to do to help each other. So it was an instinct that you would actually just follow what he's doing. Yeah, so you have to run and try to get into position and maybe try to receive a pass. Basically, that was what you want to do. And then suddenly you realize that the ball is coming to your feet now. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I was maybe ahead of the ball a little bit ahead. That means to say I couldn't do what you call a first time shot. So I had to sort of take a small little break, and then that's where when I saw the defender coming on the right side of my eye, and again it was just an instinct that I stopped the ball and I just pull it to the right, and so I guess right that he actually slided down and missed the ball, and then I just slotted the ball home. So everything I believe was instinct at that moment, because in football, like they say, when they don't give you an open goal to score, you need to take your half chance or whatever chance that you have and make full use of it. So that full chance or half chance may take a split second. So I'm guessing that I did that.
Yeah. Datuk Suchinan, over to you. The golden years of Malaysia, you were the captain. Being the captain is not easy. It's not just the responsibility of your team, but then it was the responsibility of the nation, because everybody was focused on the soccer team, focused on you as the captain, as the leader. How can you share? How did you manage your captaincy? How did you manage your players? How did you make crucial, important decisions in the game? How do you work with the coaches and the managers?
Well, I'm being captain is only just a name. But of course, being a captain, I have the responsibility to take care of the whole team. I got to make sure that they have discipline before the game. They have to keep themselves well. Now they cannot. I still remember when it comes to the game, there is no more joking and all this kind of thing. We have to be serious. We have to concentrate on the game before the game, so that we can achieve the goal. So this is very important, and I think during my time as captain with all these the other players, I think they have been very cooperative. So this is where we make it qualify for Olympics, qualify for better goals.
Right. Now, when you guys were young, there were a lot of personal sacrifices that you made. Can you just share a little bit of your personal sacrifices that you made into from youth to be coming into the national team, and then in the national team towards your sporting excellence and in life? So can you share a little bit of those sacrifices that you've made?
Yeah.
Datuk Suchinan.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want me to?
Okay, Datuk James, you can go first. Yes, your personal sacrifice that you've made.
Basically, like I said, when I was much younger and wanting to play football, the passion was there, and my parents were never objected to what we wanted to do in sports. They basically gave me a free hand to do whatever you wanted to do. But the saying is always the same: you have to take care of yourself, don't get into trouble, and blah blah blah. So one day, this is a real story for you. When I was 16, 17, maybe, I can't remember, but we were playing in a local league, and one of the football games against a much senior team. When I say senior team, means they are much older people, and we were young kids. And what happened was they were really robust. They were doing deliberate fouls on us, and being youngsters, sometimes you tend to fight a little bit. And at the end of the day, we got into a big fight. At the end of the day, some of the players were chased around on the football field by these big guys, and we all ran back to my house, which was just across the street from the football field. And that was the time when my father said to me, "No more football." So he practically took a chopper and chopped up our boots. So it was sad because you cannot play football, and it was so hard to get a pair of football shoes at those times. So we had to go and play kaki ayam lah, just use an ankle guard. And actually, without my father knowing, we went back and played football, and without him knowing. But at the end of the day, he found out, and he became a football fan. So it was a turnaround, and that was one of the main challenges that we had. I had, except that he always mentioned, "Okay, you like football so much, but don't forget your studies, you know, you make sure you get a good grade and things like that. So other than that, I think my challenges wasn't that much, except for that particular day.
Dato' Santo, can you share the sacrifices that you made from a young boy to be playing for the national team?
Of course, I can do that because why? The sacrifices were, I had a lot because I grew up in a family that was not well to do, okay, but I had to, we used to rear cows. So I used to milk the cows, I used to go and cut the grass for them to eat. And then after that, I used to go back home and tell my mother, I want to go and play football. Then she would say, okay, yes, go ahead. Because in front of my house, I had a football field. So she said, go and kick around. And then, of course, my father, of course, objected to me playing football. But later on, as he realized I grew and grew, and then I started playing for the Burnley Cup team, Selangor. He got excited. Then he said, go ahead, go and do what you can do. And then that's the reason we had a lot of sacrifices because we wanted to do what we want to, and the love of, to me, it's a love of the game where you want to, go further up and further up. And then thank God with all the sacrifices, what I did, and I turned out to be, like all my friends here, one of the players there.
Dato' Santo, Dato' Suchinan, what sacrifices did you make from a young boy into making it to the national team? What did you go through in your life?
Well, for me, I think it's almost about the same as Dr. James Wong, what Dr. Santo said. All of us were young during that time. What else can we do? It's unlike today, we have karaoke and all this kind of thing. So the only thing we have is to play football. And so happened for me also, I was lucky, just in front of my house was a football field. So this is where we started. And of course, step by step, we play around. When we come to the age of 17, 18, 16, we are, I would say, quite matured at the time. So it's from there we started, and then we started training. And then one fine day, to be frank, one fine day, I told myself I will play for the national team. After watching how they play football, and I told myself, one day I will play for the national team. So true enough, when I was quite young, at the age of 19, I already represent the country. And before that, we play in something like Malaysian youth, this type of competition. And of course, football is something that sometimes you have to be a bit talented. It's not only training, it's not only training hard and so on. You can become a very good player. You have to use your brain to play football and this kind of thing. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Now you have to learn. You have to be disciplined. That is where you can come up. Otherwise, you'll be the same. No matter how hard you train, but you never learn, you can never improve. So while playing, you have to learn. You have to improve yourself. That is very important. Then only you come to the top.
Very interesting that you have said that your mental capacity, your mind is also very important in sports. And it was also very interesting to listen that there was goal setting, that you set an objective and you say you will achieve it. And this is a very interesting point to note. Moving on to that, Can you share with us the magic moment that gave you to dream to represent the country? What was the magic moment?
You mean?
Yeah. What was your
For me-
magic moment, the turning point? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, last time I don't know about Santok and James, whether they play in the so-called what game is it? Before under 19, I can't remember. What league is that?
Burnley Cup.
Burnley Cup. We call it Burnley Cup that time.
Yeah.
So I started playing for the Malacca State during the Burnley Cup, and I still remember the first day I joined the Malaysian youth. I was called up for Malaysian youth with some of the Chinese player from Perak. The first day I met them, I told them I want to go back. I said I can't. I don't want to play. I think they know I can play very well. They keep not telling me not to go back and so on. So that is where I decided to stay back, and later on became the only person who won 2 Olympics. So this is I would say that is the time where I was about to give up, because I can't. I'm quite homesick. I dare not go and mix with them in Kuala Lumpur that time. So I was about to give up, and God bless me. Luckily, I didn't give up, and that is what I was today.
So that was your turning point out of your comfort zone and exploring yourself, and that changed your soccer world.
Exactly.
What about you, Dato' Santok? How would you share your magical moment?
My magical moment, I would say, is same like what Chinan has said, that when I was about 16, 17, one day I went to Merdeka Stadium and saw the Pesta Bola Merdeka. And then when I saw that, I said, one day I'm going to be in there playing for the country, which I did. And that was my turning point. I saw that Merdeka Stadium and people cheering. Oh, I said, like what Chinan said, I also want to be there performing in front of people. And thank God I got that opportunity to prove to people that I also can be what I want to be.
Yeah. Dato' James, coming from Sabah, what was your magical moment? It will be an interesting one, I'm sure.
I'm always unique, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, Sabah participated in the Burnley Cup in 1969, and we were actually the joint champions with Selangor in that year. And I was a goalkeeper. Okay, I was a goalkeeper, not a striker. Somehow along the line, I got selected for the national youth team to go to Japan. And I, like Chinan, I nearly, well, at least he went. I almost didn't go because we are the East, and we were having some skeptical moments and doubts whether we can go over to the West and actually team up with the others to play. So, as a young boy, you have all this uncertainty in your head. So until my friends and my brothers and keep on pressuring me and say, it's a chance for you to go and show your stuff. So I went and I played my first game for Malaysia in Japan. So after that, when we came back, I changed my position to striker now, and then they selected me also once in a while to play for the country. And at the end of the day, after you go once, you go twice, and then you start winning some medals and things like that. The more you win, the more you believe in yourself. And at the end of the day, this was what I say, from not wanting to go to wanting all the time. So it's the turning point in my career.
That's a very interesting experience that you have shared, having played as a goalkeeper and as a striker. Not many would have done that, and you've done both extremely well. Were there times where you were into the national team and then you accepted the situation, but then you felt that you were not going to make it, but then you turned the situation around and you made it great? Can you share a little bit of this experience as well?
Well, you know, when you go for centralized training in KL, you always have this fear of being inferior. And maybe that's how we pluck up our courage and try to do, you know, something out of the extraordinary, maybe run a bit more, maybe run 10 minutes more, maybe just to show yourself or show the people there that you are really, you know, want to be selected to represent the national team. So, but like I said, at the end of the day, the players from West Malaysia that I mixed with, they were great guys. I enjoyed actually playing with them, especially our captain, Tauke, Santok, all these wonderful people, you know. At first we were maybe enemies on the battlefield because it's a local league anyway. Malaysia Cup is a local league. But other than that, when we get together, you know, they're fun guys, you know. I can kick them around, they can kick me around, so it's fun. I take it as a fun thing at the end of the day with people that you can get along with.
Yeah, what about you, Dato' Santok? Were there moments like you felt like giving up and just accepted the situation, but then you turned things around and it turned around very well for you?
I would say that there were times when we get come for training, and then they always bring extra center backs or extra. I started out with midfield, and then from midfield, then I became a center back when my coach Dato Kupan, he brought me back to play as a center back with our Dato Sochinan. And we performed very, very well as a team and as a unit. And like I said, like you asked me, okay, there were one or two people who used to come that selection. So we see them, and then you want to do the extra bit to get selected. And of course, which I did the extra bit, and of course, you got to please one or two. So from there, you come and then you get it off.
What about you, Dato' Suchinan? Were there moments that you just felt like giving up, but then you pushed yourself further and things worked out really well for you?
Well, I think for all the sportsmen, I think it's all about the same. I think they have the same feeling like me or like most of our friends. So actually, especially when you lose the game, you feel like giving up. But actually, there are moments where we really wanted to give up. You keep failing, keep losing the game. That is where you can't take it and you feel like giving up. Other than that, for me, I think not really. No, there's no time, not any time that I thought of giving up.
Yeah. When you were playing at world-class competition with the top players in the world, in Asia, fighting for the same position, it's, you know, how did you feel and how did you manage your level of play to better account for yourself, to up your game performance? Dr. James.
Um, being Asian players, I always had the thinking that European footballers were always what you call one class above. But until and unless we play against them directly, for example, we had some friendly games with Red Star Belgrade from in Merdeka Stadium, you know, and then when you actually play against them, your inferiority at complex sort of diminish, because you realize that, yeah, you know, these guys are bigger and you know, things like that. But I believe in all skill wise and everything, Asians are more skillful. And at the end of the day, you just have to run harder. And by beating them is even more like a bonus for you to tell yourself that, you know, we are of international standard. We are at that level. Only that now, whether we will get the chance to actually play in the international arena. For example, I was brought to Australia to play semi-pro. You know, when you get there, when you see all these orang putih, you tend to get a bit more paranoid because you think that they're always better than you. But actually, sometimes we are even better than them in many ways. This builds up your confidence at the end of the day, and then when you start to play on or take on bigger names in football, wherever they come from. For example, Manchester United came to Sabah and had a friendly game, and we invited Chinan and a few players to come and play for us. You know, we only lost 1-0, you know. So if you look at it, we should have lost 10-0 because they are world-class people. Joe Jordan, Lou Macari, Stephen, what's his name? I can't remember all the names now, but it shows at the end of the day that we are not that far away, or even we are better than them. So in some sense, this actually gives you the, how you say, the will to take on anybody, no matter where and no matter when.
What about you, Datuk Santok? How did you up your game?
Myself, I up my game was, I think, I don't know whether, Vic, we played against England B, we played against Arsenal, we played against Cosmos, and the last game, if I'm not mistaken, we played against Boca Juniors. That time Maradona was participating, Maradona was a striker. And then when we played against this team, I personally made it a point that I don't let any of these people score a goal or anything. And I did my job well with the backup of my friend, Mr. Chinan. And I mean, Maradona could not score against me. I take my hats out. And then, of course, in 1973, when we played Arsenal, we beat Arsenal 2-1 or 2-0. And against England B, we drew 1-1. And I think we did our best. And especially I did my best not to let any of those strikers score. And I think I did my job well.
So, Datuk Chinan, how did you raise your game when push comes to shove, when it matters most against the best athletes in the world?
Well, for me, to be frank, I think the European teams, the only difference is that they are bigger size. In terms of skill-wise, in terms of speed, I don't think we lose to them. Because of their size, that is the whole problem for for the Asian boys. So that is the only advantage against us. So for me, actually, I'm not scared of them when we play against them, because we are all very, very fast people compared to, we can run faster than most of the Masali. So the only problem is the high ball, the corner kicks, and this kind of thing, where they score the goal. If we lose to them, it's also, most of the goals they score against us are either corner kicks.
Set pieces.
Other than that, I don't think they are better than us.
Yeah. All right. So taking lessons from the years of experience that all of you had, making the country proud, the golden years of soccer, having matched the best in the world, what advice would you give the audience out there, for job seekers, for university students? Dr. James.
Shall I start? Yeah. Um, well, let's put it this way. I think everyone must be, how you say, willing to adjust in life, in whatever you do. So if I can play a game of football, I can play striker, I can play midfield, I can play defense, I can play goalkeeper. I mean, at the end of the day, you become very versatile. So when you're versatile, you are much more sought in the area of, maybe career, in work and everything. So one must be really willing to work hard to change a job, or to change a directive that has been given to you to actually perform. So it's very easy to give up, because we are always very used to say, oh no, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, this is not my area of field, this is not my cup of tea. No, I think if we have to plant in our mindset that if you're given a task to do, then we must try as best as you can to do it, and to not only do it for the sake of doing it, but do it with passion, do it with determination and everything, so that you can get the best out of yourself to do this job.
Dr. Santok, what advice have you got for job seekers, university students, from your years of soccer experience?
You ask me, for all the job seekers who are looking for jobs, once you get a job, go and prove to your bosses or the people down there that what you can do, you can do. Always be, what they said, be more adventurous and do things that people never expect you to do. And then go there, like what Dr. James said, work hard, discipline yourself, dedicate what you want to do, and that's all I can say. I mean, that's through the future generation. Do what you want to do, and don't listen to people. Just go and do what you feel you want to do, and do it.
Thank you. Dr. Suchinan, what about yourself? What advice have you got to the university students and job seekers out there?
Well, for university students, they are all qualified. I would say they are graduate and all that. After their university, they come out from university. So looking for a job is one thing. To play football is another thing. Doesn't mean that you are a new university student, you cannot play football. Maybe one day you need to play football. Maybe as a university student, you can earn more today in football, better than some of the university graduates who just came out. So football today, in fact, sports in Malaysia today, you can still make a lot of money compared to you are university graduate and so on. So I would say lah, and at the same time, doesn't mean that you're a university student, you cannot play football. It's also part of exercise for you, which is good. It can be fun, So I hope lah, they don't just stick to one job as a university student, as a graduate, to work for government, to work for this. But at the same time, they have to do sports to make sure they are healthy and so on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is very important. You can be university student, but you are weak. You have a lot of problem later on.
Yeah.
I mean to do some exercise, it's always good, compared to just, oh, I am a graduate, I am so and so, which is no good.
Yeah. Thank you for the advice, Dato' Suchinan. So with this, I think we have concluded the whole program. But before we end, let's take a moment of silence to respect the demise of Dato' James Wong's dad, who passed away on the 18th of August. Let's take a moment of silence. Okay, with this, I thank you very much to Dato' Sochinan, Dato' Santokh Singh, and Dato' James Wong to be able to contribute your wealth of knowledge and experience to the job seekers and university students who are actually looking to set up a career, and they can learn experience from athletes who have done very well at the highest level in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.